So there has been some crazy stuff happening with the NIL stuff. We talked about on our last Mess on Monday episode about Joe Milton's new NIL deal with McDonald's, and he has his own meal and all of that stuff. It's pretty cool. And so it got me thinking, and I stumbled upon this article that listed out the top NIL earning potential of college athletes. And so these are all college athletes, and it's saying right now about how much NIL money are they worth. So about what is their valuation? It has a ranking of like a top 10 or top 20 or whatever. So I was just going to ask you guys a little trivia for the day. Um, who all do you think might show up on this list of top earning potential for the NIL? Any guesses? Tens, what do you think?
I think I want to start out with the old Manning boy, Archie.
Yeah, Arch Manning. Mm-hmm. He's number 4 on the list, actually. And this is all athletes across all sports. So he's number 4. He obviously is nephew to Peyton Manning, plays at Texas. He is a backup quarterback who will not play a single meaningful down of football this season, probably, making his valuation is set right now at $2.9 million. That is a lot of money to do basically nothing of value.
You could retire on that.
He could truly never work again, and if he didn't waste all his money, could probably retire at the age of 18 on a football. So there is Arch Manning. We're living in a new world, people. Anybody else you got come to mind? Mason?
Mr. Durham, I'm going to lock in my pick with Bronny James.
Bronny James is number 1. Freshman at USC, obviously son of LeBron James. His valuation is currently at $6.1 million. Has not played 1 second of college basketball. In fact, had a pretty bad health scare and maybe won't even play all season. I don't know that. I'm just throwing that out there. But
he was speculation. Yeah, he was projected to just be like a 6th guy off the bench anyway. Like he wasn't. The USC's pretty loaded at guard. Yeah.
I see a trend here with the names. Crazy. You're making money off of your name.
Well, that is true. That is
so far.
NIL does stand for name, image, and likeness. So there you go.
Oh, is that what that stands for? Dang. All right.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No, I'm just kidding. All right, Tens. What you got?
I'm gonna go Shedeur Sanders.
He is number 2 on the list. In fact,
wow,
at $4.1 million. You wonder how many coaches they're out earning, like what percentage of NCAA coaches that they're out earning. Probably almost all of them. $4 million for 1 year. I mean, not all of them for basketball.
Right.
But
yeah,
a lot of them. There's not a whole lot of coaches making $4 million a year.
Yeah, probably not.
It's a pretty hefty salary.
Maybe just the big name guys.
All right, Zachary, I'm going to throw out Livy Dunn.
Wow, you're doing well. That's number 3.
What?
$3.2 million.
How am I getting these?
It's like someone cheated on the test.
Mason did stumble across this list at some point. But some of the obvious ones are kind of thrown out there now. Livy Dunn, obviously, of TikTok fame, LSU gymnast who has become very, very popular online for some TikTok stuff and things like that. But $3.2 million valuation is kind of insane. So there you go. All right, this is where it gets kind of fun. Tens?
Yep.
Anybody else you got on your mind?
I'm going to go...
There's a couple you can get on this list. For sure.
I want to pull a random one, you know? I want to pull something crazy like, I don't know, Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter is number 6 on the list. That's true. $1.8 million. Obviously, playing both directions and for the Colorado, who is popping off right now. 2 Colorado guys in the top 6. Kind of wild.
Kind of maybe explains what's going on over there. They got some good players.
I will say, sitting in game day to there, I don't understand. I think it was just a really weird week in college football where there's not a lot of big games. Yeah. Colorado State is not very good.
No.
And I think it's a rivalry, but they're like 20-point favorites or something right now. So I don't know if it'll be a very interesting game, but It's pretty cool. I guess they're getting
The
game day.
head coach made it interesting, but we can dive into that in a minute.
Okay, we'll
Colorado
dive into
State.
it later. Okay,
talking trash.
That was probably stupid.
I'm gonna go Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is on the list as well. Number 10.
Oh,
we'll kind of let's rapid fire through these last couple because they're getting down there. 10s. Anybody else on their mind?
Will Shipley.
Will Shipley,
running back for Clemson.
No, his stock is dropping hard with Clemson's chances of being even mediocre this year. Just kidding. He's not really on the list though. Sorry.
I'm gonna go Jalen Milroe.
Not on the list either.
Wow, Alabama quarterback ain't getting paid.
Okay, let me just run through. Let me run through the rest because we're going a little long here. Number 5 is Caleb Williams. Makes sense. Heisman winner. 7 is Evan Stewart of Texas A&M, which is kind of weird. He's a sophomore. I haven't really heard of him too much. Angel Reese, LSU basketball player, been in the news. Kind of a controversial person there. Drake May, number 9. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., number 11. Bryce James, number 13. Wild stuff. Not even in college. He's in high school.
Yeah, he's in high school.
$1.2 million valuation is high schooler. So shout out to Bryce James. It's just potential to me.
Shout out.
Shout out to that guy. He's done nothing not even in college. All right. So there's that. Fun facts for you, everybody.
Fun facts indeed. I love it. All right. Well, I think now we can go diving into like a weekend recap of what happened last weekend in college and the NFL. I think we should probably start in college. Like Zach was saying, there's not a lot of big games this weekend. I don't think there was a lot of big games last weekend either. The biggest takeaway I got from college football last weekend is that the Pac-12 might be for real because they have 8 teams in the top 25.
Yep. You never know what you got till it's gone. These teams are like, let's pull it together one more year for the Pac-12. Too bad no one can watch any of the games because it's on Apple TV.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Most ridiculous streaming service to go out of your way to purchase just to watch
malpractice. No one is doing it. It's sad. But shout out to those guys. I don't know how long this is going to last, but
honestly, they have like the best group of quarterbacks probably in the country right now. Like if you look at it, they've got Shedeur Sanders shooting up the Heisman race. Caleb Williams, obviously. Bo Nix is playing very well. And then Michael Penix for Washington. I mean, there's
a good chance a Heisman winner comes out of the Pac-12, I would say. Pretty good chance.
I wonder what the preseason odds on that were. I wonder if they're still available too. I might have to go dive in for that.
Out of the Pac-12?
Yeah.
Is that even a thing you could bet on? That's interesting.
Yeah, they do by conference.
They do stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be worth looking into here in a little while.
So speaking of Pac-12, Colorado did beat Nebraska, which I said all the public's in Colorado. So if you were smart, once again, my betting woes were strong last weekend. I'll point it out. Listen, I'm not the one to just pretend like I'm innocent and I didn't mess up. But I said take the spread. Nebraska's going to keep it close. They did not, 36-14. However, I will double down and say that it's all butterflies and sunshines and rainbows until they get to Oregon on the 23rd, USC, and then it kind of dies down a little bit. UCLA, Oregon State. They're losing all those games. Come at me. You know how he's picking fights with reporters? Well, you know what? I'm a reporter. So come at me right now. I'm going after you. You're overrated. You won 2 big games. Whoop-de-freaking do, okay? I want to see you beat Oregon at Oregon, by the way. USC coming into town, whooping your butts. There's a storm brewing. This is the calm before the storm. There, I said it.
No. Also, I think there's this really this weird funny narrative about there's so much recency bias, and everyone's like, guys, Colorado was so tough of a stadium to play in, and it's such a great venue, and I've never heard of Colorado Stadium once ever until this year. All of a sudden, it's like a college mecca and like a powerhouse. And I'm like, that stadium is not very big, and it's full, I guess, because it's super hyped up right now. But I'm not even sure that it's just, I don't know. It's all the hype right now is there, and people are going to games because it's cool and it's trendy, but it's do they even, is that a football place? I don't know. Is Colorado even traditionally like football? I don't know.
If they have so much money and they're doing so great and we got prime time on the sidelines, why don't they have a scoreboard that's bigger than Michael Scott's plasma TV? Because I sent this meme to Zach. It was like a meme talking about their scoreboard. It literally is like the tiniest scoreboard I've ever seen in my life. Well, Vanderbilt doesn't have a scoreboard, so I guess they're up on Vanderbilt. But
I will say, and I if you like what he's doing there and Deion Sanders is doing there or not, you have to admit it's impressive to go from a 1-win team. Now you're seeing it 2-0. You got all the hype in the world.
You're right.
For Colorado's program and athletic director to say, we're going to pay you this $30 million contract. I saw that. And then his quote was we don't even have that money. That money does not exist in this program.
But we'll get it.
But we're going to get it. Yeah. And look, they've already probably made that much in just
you're right.
Just revenue and all of the hype and College Game Day coming to campus. They've probably already generated a lot of that back. One of the wildest bets in history of them saying, you know what, we just believe if Deion Sanders come in and they're 0-2 right now, and then all of a sudden it's a wash and they've lost all that money, but they look like a bunch of geniuses out there right now.
See, I may not know this. This is a serious question. Did he create this much hype when he was at Jackson State University? This is a real
So terrible now.
He got him on TV, got people talking about it. I mean, he was expected to go take a Power 5 job and then decided to go to Jackson State instead. So, I mean, it was pretty big in the media.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to stand by this. What did he do when he left Jackson State? He absolutely just bankrupted that program, took every decent athlete with him. They are terrible now.
Yeah.
Do we really think he's not going to do the same thing at Colorado about a year from now, whenever there may be a 9-win team next year? Do we not think he's going to go somewhere else that's better than Colorado?
I think his next stop's NFL.
Oh, you don't think it's SEC? I thought it'd be college again.
No,
he loves it. He loves the college atmosphere. He can't really do this with reporters in the NFL.
I think it would be very cool if he went to Miami and he brought back that program. I think that would be kind of wild. It would be good for college football.
I've talked about this too at work because, I know Mason, TJ Hawkinson. Yes, sir. But we talk about this at UPS a lot where Deion is refusing to go to Florida State. That's where everybody wants him. They want him to come back, but he felt disrespected. And I think that would be the ultimate revenge. Awesome. Just go to Miami or Florida.
Not Florida.
Well, I'm just gonna I think if he goes to a SEC school, it's Florida because he likes the South, and Billy Napier, it might be over.
He's bad. Yeah, he's bad. He's like a Butch Jones character. I have no evidence of Miami links or anything. I have nothing, but I just think that's a cool program with a lot of history that has been bad for a long time. And
I heard you had sources. I heard you had sources, Zach.
Yeah, I have sources on the inside of the Miami program that say they're reaching out already. So
it's impressive. Well, you know who didn't win last week? That would be Alabama.
Yeah,
that's true. It was tough. So Nick Saban
they were a 7.5 point favorite. Yeah, I sent that in the group text. I didn't get any reactions like I wanted. I'm mad.
I washed up. I think it's
I'm not prepared to say that yet.
that in the world of NIL, where every college now seems to have more of a level playing field, it seems like everyone's caught up to Alabama now all of a sudden. Would you look at that? When once everyone was allowed to get paid, seems like
the sure tens.
Everyone's caught up to Alabama and Clemson. I wonder what was going on.
I think we do see speculation. A pretty big. I don't know. I think this game has shown how much Bryce Young did for Alabama and how many sins he covered up with just pretty incredible quarterback play for the last couple of years. Yeah, I think it also is interesting that some of these giant head coaches from the last decade or so, like Dabo and Nick Saban, are seemingly on a little bit of a downward trajectory in this new NIL age, struggling to keep up with some of the recruit. I mean, saying that's crazy to say that because Alabama still had an excellent recruiting class. I think Clemson's was 15, so they were down a little bit. But it is something to be said about a new era in that, and then seeing some of these older coaches start to struggle a little bit in some games we're used to them being dominant in.
Good point, Zach.
That's my whole take. That's all I got.
It's a great take.
Well, that's why you're the college expert.
So, is that wrapping up college football? We got some NFL.
Yeah, how we feeling? So that's all I really had for college football. I think when we get to our best, pretty quiet weekend, and then really we could. I kind of want to talk about UT, and it looks from the notes where we pick our favorite matchups of the weekend. We're all just leaning one way because it's a very weak college slate. So I think we'll get some UT talk here in a minute, but let's wrap up the recap of the weekend by hitting some NFL topics real quick. I know that Aaron Rodgers is the biggest. It's the number one story of the NFL week last week, but I just want to pipe up about one thing. If any other quarterback played like Josh Allen played last Monday,
it's tough.
We would be dragging him through the streets if that was Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins or any other quarterback. And so I would just like to remind, and this is where I need this TikTok's about to blow up and go viral. I need everyone to remember what I said about Josh Allen.
Here we go.
He sucks. He's terrible. And him without Brian Daboll is not good.
So I got a question for you, Tins. Since 2018, who has led the league in turnovers?
Oh, that would be, I don't know, the Wyoming wild man, Josh Allen.
Correct. And how many did he have?
How many? I don't know. Let's go 40.
84, Tins and Zach. 84 turnovers since 2018.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So, when everyone makes these stupid quarterbacks lists and they automatically put Josh Allen as number 2, get out of my face because he is just a turnover machine.
Get out of his face.
Get out of his face. I'm looking something up.
So, I mean, I don't know. I know me and Mason were both kind of down on, we were not picking the Jets to win that division anyway. I hate to see it come, to the conclusion it's probably going to happen now because that happened to Aaron Rodgers. I would rather, have seen him play all year to be right that way. But, Mason's pick of the Dolphins – it's got some legs. If Tua stays healthy, because this Bills team is regressing every year now, it seems like.
I saw this post where this guy got it was a best man present for him getting married, and it was $100 on the Miami Dolphins to win the division at plus almost 400. And now I think it's minus money. Now I think it's literally the on-set favorite. So I thought that was pretty funny, though. I feel like if I would have been into betting while all my friends were getting married, I would have done something like that. But it wouldn't have been $100. It would have been $20. Because
I'd have gladly taken a ticket like that.
And Jacksonville Jaguars won in the Super Bowl. It would have been a ticket worth $0
back when I got married, that would have been a bad ticket. I think
it would have been plus $1 million because they were the worst team in the.
Or if it was in a year ever.
2000. Yeah, no, it would have been bad. I think that was a Blaine Gabbert year.
Shout out.
Shout out my guy, Blaine Gabbert.
You know who doesn't get grilled like this? Nathan Peterman. If he would have been the Bills, I just wanted to bring that up because he turned the ball over a lot. But Josh Allen, he turns it over and we don't say a thing. You're right, Tins. But Nathan Peterman turns the ball over and he's not even in the league anymore.
So you know who else turns the ball over a lot?
Who?
Ryan Tannehill.
Y'all's boy.
Yeah. 3 interceptions.
It was not pretty. He was visibly very upset. And I was also pretty upset at the same time.
We're kind of off the rails a little bit on following our document here, but I just want to go ahead and say that during Ryan Tannehill's press coverage, whatever, where he's getting interviewed after the game, he refused to answer questions about the last game, and he said, on to San Diego. Does San Diego have an NFL team anymore, Tins or Zach? So he threw 3 interceptions, lost the game, and then he said on to San Diego several times until a reporter had to correct him. So that's our quarterback.
Do the Titans have the worst QB room in the league?
There's a chance. They do. They sure do.
I respect Tannehill because he doesn't put mayonnaise in his coffee, though. So we still got that. That's all I'm gonna say.
If that's what you have to stand on for your quarterback, you got a lot of bad stuff going on.
Yes, we do have a bad quarterback.
The Will Levis draft pick maybe is just like one of the worst draft picks in history.
I think my favorite part of the draft was watching Will Levis slide, and then the Titans are up the pick, and the look on Mason's face, he's like,
I knew
oh my gosh, we're going to take him. But they don't. Yep. They take Peter Skoronski. But then, as Will Levis slides throughout the first round, the fear on Mason's face comes back, and he's like, "Oh no!"
The same dread on Will Levis's face was on Mason's face.
He's still gonna end up with him, and you did.
I know. It's like
taking Willis and Will Levis in back-to-back drafts is just insane behavior.
Oh, don't remind me.
Instead of waiting to just invest in this year's quarterback class, which looks to be like a very good and loaded class. But hey, I hate it for you guys. I really do.
It sucks. Well, we could have paid a lot of money for Aaron Rodgers to get 4 plays out of him. So
we didn't do that. You're right.
Didn't do that. That's tough. That's tough for the Jets.
By the way, who guessed that would happen? Not the exact injury, but was said bad offensive line and a 40-year-old quarterback. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. Maybe the Next Guy Up podcast sure said something about it. Over a month ago, we talked about this.
We did. Go back to episode 3 or something. I don't know the exact episode. Go listen to 3.
We're literally all of our screaming it from the mountaintops that this was dumb.
Man.
Yep. And here we are. So.
All right. Well, I think that does it for the recaps of last weekend. I think we dove into that. I think we covered it all. So we're going to look ahead to this upcoming weekend. Thing we're going to do is we're each going to pick our favorites, game we're most looking forward to in the NFL. And I kind of alluded to it earlier. We would normally all pick something different for college, but we are all looking at the college slate, and it is rough. And so we're all just going to look forward to the game that we would probably all be looking forward to the most anyway, and that is UT versus Florida in the Swamp. UT is a 6.5-point favorite,
which has gone down. It started at 8.5.
It started at 8.5. If you took it after Utah, it was 10.
Oh my!
We have seen the line crash. I still feel. I don't know. I know, Zach, you're the president of the Bazooka Joe campaign here, and I'm not trying to talk you off of it, but I have that feeling in my gut that this is not going to go well.
Listen, guys, listen. I am the president of the Joe Milton fan club. I've sworn at the beginning of the year that I will not talk trash about Joe Milton. I will not call for him to sit the bench under any circumstances. And I will stand on this hill. Joe Milton is the guy. He did not look like it necessarily against Austin Peay, but I believe in Joe. I think he's going to come out. He's going to have a great week. I think a lot of the blame is to be put on wide receivers who did not play well either. I think they are better than what they played. I think Brew McCoy is better than he did. I think Ramel Keaton is better than he played. I think we just had a tough, weird week. It rained a lot. It was a weather delay. It was against a bad team. Home opener with some nerves. I think it was a great game to get out of the way. Going down to the swamp, I think we're going to be ready to roll. That's my take. Call me a homer because I am. It's fine. But here we are. I'm all in.
He's even rocking the Tennessee hat as we speak.
Yeah, this is my vintage 1997 Tennessee SEC champions hat. And, maybe this is the year. There was some things last year we struggled against in that game against Pittsburgh. It was not pretty, but we pushed through it and we ended up learning a lot from that game, growing, and then we ended up having a great season. Who's to say?
So you're saying Austin Peay was that game?
It wasn't a game where we were really challenged, but it was a game where I think we understood that we had things to work on. We understood there were things that we needed to do better. And, I'm just going to believe it. So talking about this matchup, Florida's offense is not very good. And while Tennessee's offense has not looked great early, their defense has looked very good. Secondary looks much improved, and defensive line honestly looks like some world beaters out there. And I could really see like 4 or 5 sacks get stacked up against that Florida offense. I think Florida does not score very much. And maybe our offense does not click like it did last year, but I think they score plenty enough to win. I really do think that if we play like we should and our defense steps up, I think we win. You remember last year against a really bad Florida team that ended up losing some really bad games down the stretch. Tennessee barely squeaked that one out, and it was pretty close too. I'm just saying last year's team didn't start super fast either. They took some time to get warmed up and to get rolling. So
when it was at 8.5, I was like, this is going to be way closer than 8.5 points.
Yeah,
it's a close game. It's going to be.
I'd love to see the offense start to click here in this game. I think our defense is playing a lot better than the team we had last year, for sure. Which is surprising. It's not something I think going into the season we were all like looking at and be like, well, we can count on our defense to kind of keep us in games. And so I agree. I don't think this Florida team is very talented. I don't think highly of their coach. I don't think he's going to make it much longer. So Heupel should be able to coach circles around him. Yeah. But that being said, we'll just I don't know. I like 6.5. I'm glad I didn't take it after the Utah game because it was 10 then. Yeah. I think a touchdown feels about right.
Yeah.
But still just a little nervous.
I also like 6.5. I think that's a favorable line. I do.
All right.
Well, so that is college. Mason, I went off script there. I'm going to knock out my NFL matchup I'm looking forward to the most because it's going to be short and simple.
Who's going to be?
It's also one of my best bets this weekend. It's the Jags, guys, and it's a playoff rematch, divisional round. Patrick Mahomes coming off of a loss. He's got Kelsey back. He has Chris Jones coming back to that defense. And I don't care. I do not care.
You were hoping he would have held out one more week.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Our interior offensive line's a little banged up right now. But my guys are on the field, and I'm rolling with them. And so I am super excited to be watching this game. I wish I was going down there to suffer in the 110-degree weather. But that's okay. I'll enjoy it from the comfort of my couch. And if things get a little hairy, I'll bust out some Chunky Monkey ice cream to turn the tide.
The secret weapon.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes don't know about that one.
No, he does not. All right. Well, I'm also going to keep mine short and sweet to the point because we still got quite a bit to talk about. My game of the week is going to be the Ravens at the Bengals. Is it Bengal or Bengal? And Ravens do not have J.K. Dobbins. I want to see how they do. And Lamar Jackson's kind of meh. So the Bengals also had a horrible week. They did not look good. I believe Joe Burrow only had like 86 yards passing. A lot of was that just weather? Are they a bad team now? They lost against the Browns. So I feel like I want a little more confirmation on what I saw from week 1 into week 2, and it's a division rival. So looking forward to that. But that is my pick.
I feel like that game is going to get brought back up a little bit later as well. But definitely looking forward to that game too, seeing a bounce back from Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Foreshadowing. Also, real quick, I do want to say, usually week 1, we have a double header on Monday night. I just want to remind everybody, I don't know why they did the schedule like this. Maybe Tens knows, but they're doing the double header this Monday night. Saints at the Panthers, Browns at the Steelers. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is it was 9/11. They were doing that, like the remembering that
for New York
Jets game. So maybe that was why they had a standalone Monday night game. I'd imagine that's the reason, but I hadn't read that anywhere or anything like that.
That could be a good point there for sure. And now I'm going to transition into best bets. So I found a little trend thing going on. I like to just keep up with bets. I'm going to just go ahead and say this at the very beginning. I do not know the players of Oregon State, or I do not know San Diego State's players or their coaches. I'm just telling you a trend, and I'm riding that trend. And that is Oregon State betting trend. They have covered 9 straight games and 13 straight home games. They're 24.5 point favorites against San Diego. I take that back. I do actually know a little bit about their players. The player, I can't pronounce his name, Uiagalelei.
DJU. Just DJU. That's what I call him.
Okay, well, he so far has thrown 5 touchdowns for the season. They have averaged a total of 461 yards. Or they've had a total of 464 yards, and they've allowed 227. San Diego has given up a lot of yards. They've just had some really bad games. So let's see. I'm curious to see what will happen, but
no, I like that. I like that Oregon State having one more kind of tune-up game before they dive into Pac-12 play. So I definitely like that pick. I'm high up on Oregon State. It was going to be one of my future Friday picks. But instead I gave out Texas Tech. It was kind of a coin flip between the two, and wish I would have went the other way because Texas Tech can go fall off a cliff. So anyway.
Fall off a cliff. Real quick, Oregon State against UC Davis, 55-7. The game before that, San Jose State University, 42-17. So they've had some blowout wins this season so far, where San Diego State just lost to UCLA last week, 35-10. So we'll see what happens. I feel pretty confident with it. The cover machine, so give it to me.
All right. Well, I alluded to it a minute ago, and here we are. We're right back. My best bet of the weekend, and get it while you can. Its line has been volatile all week. There's been a lot of money coming in on both sides. I am on Jaguars plus 3.5. I should have written this stat down, but I was listening to a podcast earlier talking about the miracles of Patrick Mahomes and how great of a quarterback he is, but how terrible his teams are against spreads that are over 3 points. A lot of these Patrick Mahomes games do come down to field goals, where he leads his team down the field and kicks a field goal and beats you by 1 point. I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen this weekend, but I will take the points at home with an offense that had some boneheaded mistakes from our rookie. Tank Bigsby had a silly fumble on a play that he thought was dead that turned into a defensive touchdown. If that didn't happen, we win by 3 scores.
You saw that live, by the way.
I did see that live. It was very confusing. Me and all the Colts fans around us were very confused. It was a very rough reffing crew too. They are having a long night, long day with placements and stuff like that. But I'm on Jaguars 3.5. I think we're gonna have a sold out crowd, big energy in the bank. Trevor is looking to, insert himself into this top tier quarterback list and show what he has. Calvin Ridley looks like he hasn't missed 2 years after his first game. I mean, he was looking great. And so I'm going to ride with plus 3.5.
All right. Well, speaking of some trends, I have another trend for everybody in the classroom today.
Oh, no.
I'm ready.
Number of years since the Vols last won in the Swamp. You already know the number?
I'd love to.
It's 20 years since 2003.
Wow.
That was the Vols' last win in the Swamp. And so I say all streaks are meant to be broken. This is the year it gets done. I was in the Swamp in 2015. One of the most heartbreaking moments of my life, truly. Whenever we missed the game-winning field goal at the end, we were up the entire game. We had a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter, all just to see it washed away at the end to lose by a single point because Butch Jones is a moron. And so
you were heckled out of the stadium as well.
That stadium was silent for 3.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden they started feeling good at the very end. Terrible experience, truly horrible experience that only just enhanced my Florida Gator hatred. And so here I am in 2023 saying 20 years is as far as the streak goes. It's done. It's done, though. We are flipping the script. So with that being said, my best bet of the week, I said it earlier a little bit. I broke it down. I think Florida's offense is bad. I think Tennessee's defense is better than most people are giving them credit for. And so I'm taking under 24.5 points scored by the Florida offense. Under, or just by Florida as a whole, I guess. They can have defensive points. But I'm taking under 24.5. That's my best bet.
Love your best bet, Zach.
Thank you, Mason.
All right, I'm going to do hop on a prop. It's time for hop on the prop. Hop on the prop. All right, real quick. Nobody joined me, but
nice
that's
jingle.
Fine.
That was great.
Thank you. My hop on a prop it's simple as it can be. Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, and Amon-Ra St. Brown all to have at least 50 yards at minus 125. Got a couple reasons for you. All clear-cut number one wide receivers. St. Brown led the team in targets with 9 and finished the game with 71 yards. Tyreek Hill led his team with 15 targets and 215 yards. Yep, that's right. You heard me correctly. 215 yards. And Keenan Allen led his team with 9 targets and had 76 yards. So they all cleared that last week. They all led their team in targets. So simple as can be, right? Unless, the betting gods just want to, screw it up again. I'm going to all those 3 players, I'll say it one more time. Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, all that have 50 yards. You can go to the alternate lines and parlay them all together, minus 125. That's my hop on a prop.
I like that. I like that one a lot. I'm definitely going to be jumping on that one with you. For my hop on a prop this weekend, I went back and forth. I was going to take Chargers team total over 23.5. Austin Eckler looks like he's not going to be able to play this weekend. And I really think that's going to put a damper on their offense. And as much as I don't want to give any credit to the Titans, if the Chargers are just going to drop back and pass every play since Eckler's out, they might have a tough day against the Titans defensive line, which is very good. So I shifted, and I'm going to be rolling with my guy Joe Burrow over 266.5 yards passing. I'm looking for him to have a nice bounce back game after a very poor performance up in Cleveland last week, and some very concerning Ravens injuries once again have popped up. Not even just on the offensive side, which they are missing 2 starting offensive linemen on top of the starting running back J.K. Dobbins, but their best cover corner Marlon Humphreys is going to be out for this game, and their starting safety Williams is going to be out. So that's 2 starters in the secondary. on a team that loves to blitz and play just, man-to-man coverage, you're going to have a lot of guys playing in the coverage that not very experienced against a Joe Burrow team that's going to look to get this offense rolling into the season. They knocked off the rest last week in a bad weather game. They didn't play together in the preseason, so I think you're going to see them kind of have an explosion of offense. And Joe Burrow has really played well against the Ravens his whole career. He's not really had much success against the Browns for some reason, but with the Ravens, he seems to always do well.
Love that pick. Love it.
Love it.
And it was minus 115. Minus
Great
115
pick
on that.
Awesome. So once again, we have our famous and patent pending, trademarked next guy up parlay.
Money back guaranteed.
This is going to hit. I'm feeling it.
I feel really
good. Each person give their leg, and then we'll give the total at the very end. Zach, you're up first.
All right, my leg is no shock to anyone in the entire world. I'm taking Tennessee minus 6.5 against the Gators. Biggest college game of the week. I think Tennessee covers that easily. That's an easy hit, minus 110.
I'm going to get a shirt made called Tennessee Hits Easily.
Hit it.
That is what Zach just said.
Let's get some merch made with that. Come on.
Tennessee.
I like it.
All right, I'm up next. I'm going to go ahead. I went with an alternate line for this one, and it's juiced big time, but that's fine because after what happened last weekend, it's a juice box. And I'm ready. I'm here for it because
we need a win.
I can't hit a broadside of a barn right now. Also, Zach, do some research and figure out where broadside of a barn came up with. But Cowboys -3 against the Jets. It's at Dallas.
Love it.
They just lost Aaron Rodgers. We already talked about Zach Wilson's in there. Cowboys just came off a blowout win against the Giants. They're looking pretty good. So I think it's like 9.5. I teased it down to -3. So field goal. I feel pretty confident about that. All right.
Yeah, I like that too, especially after the Cowboys defense kind of showed like they might be one of the top tier defenses in the league this year. And you're just asking for it if Zach Wilson's back there. That's a defensive touchdown waiting to happen.
Tough.
All right, so my leg of the parlay, I went with Bengals money line. It's -185. I just don't see where the Ravens are going to be able to keep up with the Bengals this week, and I just don't see the Bengals losing 2 games in a row, especially in division. That's not how they want to start the season. So I'm going to roll with the Bengals -185. Mason, you cook these 3 up together, and what kind of odds are we looking at this week?
That's a winner.
We're looking at dang it, I lost it. Hold on.
Shove it.
We are looking at, you sent it in the text. Give me a minute, everybody. Somebody buffer.
This is great podcasting.
This is what I mean, if you're listening to this right now,
plus just $279.
$279, so $10, and you're looking at 30 whatever.
You're rich.
Math is hard.
$27.90
profit.
Yep. That's I don't know math very well, but I know betting math.
That's
since this has kind of fallen off the rails at the very end, this came from the early 19th century, broadside of a barn. Basically, as a new recruit, it was likely that you would be inaccurate with your weapon, so the instructor would say you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Wow.
When they were training for rifle,
because you were looking that up last minute, Mason.
Yeah, that's what happened. I was not expecting that question, and I was looking up something more important, which was where did broadside of a barn come from? So here we are.
You learn something every day. You listen to the Next Guy podcast. We can't do that.
We're all about the information and the facts. That's what we are.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. I don't know who's closing this. I'll just close it. But we're going to wrap her up today. Thank you for listening to our weekend preview. Make sure you are following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter /X. come argue with us. Come make fun of us if our picks lose.
Like every
pick, subscribe, like almost every. Well, not almost every. Good chunk though. Almost. Don't worry, because guess what? We're not going to stop giving them out.
Baby. We're still
I ain't never been scared. So I'll be giving out picks all weekend. I'll be making Mason give out some picks with me this weekend.
Yeah.
Mason's a coward.
So, thank you, Zach.
He's scared.
What a great teammate.
He's responsible. So, like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out on YouTube so you can see all these dumb faces we're making. You can see me and Mason's cool studios. We got some cool pictures hanging up, and our cool shirts. Our Next Guy Up t-shirts.
Dang.
But that's going to be it for this week's episode. Hope everybody has a great weekend.